Morning, everybody. Welcome back. It's raining out this morning. Had been raining out for some time, couple hours this morning, at least when I woke up, and then for a couple hours. So, in the mindset of trying to, move forward at, every chance I get, I'm in the shop here this morning and started to work on some of the repairs to the mill. Okay, I know I had shown you in one of the previous videos, I had some flat stock, some plate that it ends up being 3/16. I threw my little Miller gauge on it, and it is 3/16. So it's obviously thicker than 1/8. So I've decided that under each leg I'm going to put one of these little plates. Let me show you what I have so far. So out of that plate that I showed you the other day, this here's about, I don't know, 7-8 inches long, something like that. So this was, long this way. So I just cut it up. It needs to be about 2 5/8, 2.5, 2 5/8 wide, and square-ish. So it works out kind of perfectly where I just cut these into thirds, which produces, obviously this here. And then yesterday when I was running around, I bought a 5/8 bit. I don't know how long it's going to last. It took me a little while to get through this 3/16 plate, but it got through it. So I'm going to keep it oiled up as I'm drilling and things like that and just take my time, and we'll see how long it takes. But this here is the final product. Now the hole, it looks like it's offset a little bit, and that's because it is. If I had one of the legs of the mill in here, I would show you kind of how that sits. So if you think about the corner, the vertical shot of that would, as the post sits, it's like an L, like this. It's more in the corner of it. So, and rather than have an arc on this like the leg actually does, I'm just going to leave it square. It's just there for support. So I'm going to make 12 of these, one for each leg. Even though I'm I told you before, I'm robbing Peter to pay Paul, and that my newer unbent legs are going to go under the weight, generally where the weight goes now. They'll get these as well as the ones that are already compromised that I am flattening back out. So, but as I look outside, the sun's out and we are ready to get to work. Last you saw me, I was kind of wore out and whooped, and that is truly the case. It was a late night for me to be out running around. I ended up getting home about 8:15 last night. I had to go to 2 different stores. I went further than what I wanted to, but I had to get the material. And honestly, I think if I knew it was going to rain like it did this morning, I probably would have gone and done that this morning, but the weather didn't show anything like that, so it is what it is. So bottom line is I've got 12 pieces of conduit inside the Jeep right now, and we got to get that down the hill, and we're going to pull some wire today. That I guarantee. All right, so yeah, let's get to it. I've got the conduit down here, so I'm just going to start laying it out now. Now, one of the things I got 2 45-degree elbows here, and you can see at this angle right here, this is not a 45 that goes off there. It's greater than that. So I got my heat gun. I'm going to try and bend the elbow. I got the same kind of issue down there. Although that's super close to a 45, I think I'm still going to have to heat it up a little bit to get it to mold the way I want it to. So let me lay down the pipe, make sure I got it kind of everywhere I need it, and then, we'll kind of go from there. Looks like I ended up with an extra piece of 1.5 inches, which is fine. I can tap that in somewhere, maybe extend back here towards that box a little bit more. But primarily, so between this tree here and then this tree here, this is a driveway that's going to go back to the camping area. So everything that is, all the wire that is going to be under this avenue through here is sheathed with Schedule 40. So, including the approach now, so the driveway comes up through here. There'll be some parking over here for cabin 2. There'll be some parking around here for cabin 3. So again, all of this is going to be sheathed in conduit. So, and it looks like, I mean, it goes all the way down to in between those trees, just before it actually splits to go to cabin 1 and then to cabin 2. So, I think I'm fine there as far as code-wise. And I can't think of anything else that's going on. So obviously my conundrum here is I've never pulled cable through any length of conduit like this before. So, do I string... do I blow a string through the thing and then pull the cable through, or can I just, is it of the size to where it'll just kind of go through if I just push it through kind of nice? I don't know. We'll figure it out. But, so I need to get these linked together and, yeah, well, get them in a hole and see what happens. Well, I managed to get that conduit down into the trench. And everything looks great. Got it turned down around the corner down there. And I also have a pull rope attached to the end of it here. So the entire, let's see if we get around there. So looks great. I mean, I don't know what a conduit in a trench would look like, but damn, this one looks good. So I've got a pull rope to come out the entire length. So let's see around here. So I'm going to get further down here behind me to try and pull. Obviously, I don't want to pull, at any strange angle or anything. So I'm going to do my best to pull it straight. So what I'm thinking, this reel of this spool of wire is a bit difficult to manage. So I might utilize the road that's back there to basically unroll a long section of it and then kind of line it up behind. There's a tree actually behind there to help it kind of go down into the trench and, down along the conduit. I was going to build like a little wire spool spinny thing so it just spins coming off the spool, but I don't know. There's 100 different ways to do this. So, all right. Well, let's pull some wire here. All right, I've got the cable kind of pulled through. Here's the end of it here. So I'm going to lash it, bunch of tape, probably 2 yards worth around this pull rope to this cable here. Let me show you what I got going on up this road. So I've got it laid out. I'm gonna, pull some, come and take a look, pull some and come and take a look, but I've got a good bit of it unraveled here. It lays down pretty straight. Obviously I would like to take it directly off the roll, but I'd still probably in my head trying to configure how I would design that thing. So this is just, so we'll see. So it'll friction a little bit around this tree, but that helps it kind of go right down into the hole. So I don't know, let's get it taped up and see what happens. So here's what we're looking at here. This is the first part. I only just pushed it up into the conduit a little bit, but I've got probably about 1.5 yards maybe of it taped up, and that rope is twisted as it's going up the cable, and it terminates there with a bowline, and then I have my follow-on cord attached to that. So because I have to bring two 2 sets of wires through this conduit, I need to have a second rope. So I will pull this one through and then attach the white stronger rope to it, and then pull the second one through once everything is kind of cut and put up. So that's kind of what we're looking at. So because I've got twigs and all sorts of things over here getting caught, I've only kind of unraveled a small section of this follow-on rope. This is Zing It. It's a really strong type rope. I'm certainly not anticipating it breaking, but it will get snagged on all of these little twigs and all this other stuff. So I'll be coming back and forth to, just kind of let more line out or make sure everything's going just fine. So I think I'll know relatively quickly my first initial pull on the rope down there on whether or not this is going to be feasible. I'm feeling pretty good about this. I'm thinking I'm probably 85% success rate with this. So that blue thing right there was just wrapping that came around the spool. So I'm feeling pretty good about it. So let's go pull on this and see what happens. Down here by cabin 1, really just behind it. I don't know. Let's see if I can zoom in here. You might be able to see the end of the there's the end of the come on. There's the end of the conduit there. So I'm probably 15 feet away from it, but I am, really a straight pull from here. So I think I'm at my best spot. I could be here. So let me set you guys up and, well, let's get it. Actually, over some roots up there. Let me go clear that. Hey, that's pulling pretty easy. Let me go check on that other rope. Well, my follow-on line looked great. I brought some more slack in for the main cable, and I'm excited how easy it's pulling through the conduit. Go make another check. All right, everything looks good. That must have been the corner. I've got cable out the conduit. That's exciting. I got the end pulled out down here by cabin 1. I just wanted to show you here. This is kind of how I did this. So it's about 3 feet, I would say, of wrap around there. So the white rope is twisted around it, and then the tape there just kind of secures everything. I never really had a sense or, a worry that it felt like it was going to break off or anything like that. I think it went very well. No complaints. To be honest with you, when I had that little hard part that was pulling a little bit, it wasn't actually the corner that did that, my little bend that's right up here. It was on the other end. There was a twist in the wire and it was stuck behind the spool. So when I went to the other side and took a look at everything, the spool was twisted and out of place, and I could see the kink in the wire. So I'm excited about my second pull here. So we're going to attach this white wire, or I'm sorry, we're going to unconnect all of this here that I used to pull it through, and then use the yellow wire on the yellow cord on the other end to pull the white cord back through. So let's get it. All right, gang. Well, I am done pulling wire for the day. I must say there aren't really many times during this build where it's like, oh, I wish I had another hand here to help me, or you know, to do something. But I'm telling you what, to have two people out here to do this would have really been helpful, especially since, you know, I was trying to pull the slack out, you know, at one end, and if you pull too much, then you pull the conduit away. So it was really a back and forth thing, and there was really no way to film any of that because I'd have been out of the frame for what I was doing, would have been out of the frame, you know, for a while. So here's where we sit. I've got 3 sets of wires coming up through my conduit there, and it is pulled. Let me go back here behind cabin 3, and I can show you how I have these cabins too. Very much just like the main service panel right there. So I've just got some wire sticking out the top of it here. Should be plenty. I would imagine I'm going to cut, you know, some off of it. I'm not an electrician and don't do this on a daily basis, but I'm sure. But I would rather have a little extra than not have enough. So I've got the conduit, everything's sitting plumb with that, which I like. So I'll probably leave the back of these open. I will probably fill in the trenches, but I'll just leave the backs open, just so if the inspector wants to see kind of how deep it is or whatever. But they usually just says, just go ahead and get it on. So all good. All good. So again, every place where there's going to be vehicle traffic, mainly in this area here and down along there a little ways, in conduit. So I think when I bury this is going to be the last time I see it. Of course, now that I said that, that's kind of how that's gonna go. All right, well, I think I'm going to start filling in some ditch. Well, as fast as that dirt got pulled up, that dirt went in just as easy. So all buttoned up here as far as the trenches go, all the way back to the, you know, back to where the sub panels and the service panel are here. Just going to leave this, probably fill it in a little bit further, kind of further up here, but just so you can get a visual to know that that is, you know, it's at least 2 feet down. It's almost 3 feet right there, but needs to be, should be 24. That can be direct burial cable with no protection. So anyway, that's not too bad. It's 5:45 right now, so that really only took me about an hour to kind of put all that dirt back in there. So all in all, loving it. Guys, great work today. I'm really happy with the way things ended up and turned out. So this brings us into next week, Monday. Tomorrow's Monday, so I got to get the trencher back to the rental place. I'll do that first thing in the morning. I want to get some of these cabins wired up. I at least want to get everything finished and set for cabin 1. So I got to reconnect the ground line. I've got to wire the box up, the sub panel. I also have to wire up the main panel here at the breaker. So we'll do that, and then we'll see. I might start putting up some insulation I might start cutting some more flooring. I've got to mail off. I've got to get some blades sharpened, some sawmill blades sharpened. So I got to mail those off tomorrow, because trying to find someone here locally it's just not happening. They just don't do it. I don't know. So we got to mail those off, and yeah, so yeah, no shortage of stuff to do. It's always good, because when you start knocking a bunch of big things off, the checklist gets smaller and smaller, and that's good to see. So yeah, well, hey guys, glad you hung in there for this weekend. It was a super productive weekend, and yeah, I hope I entertained you guys a little bit. So that's it, guys. We'll see you on the next one.